Hi everyone. Well, I've decided to start a new video series, and it's called If You're Interested, or actually, I think I'll call it In Case You're Interested. That's better. Just in case you're interested? Perhaps you're interested. Well, by the time you're watching this video, it'll be decided upon. But it has to do with looking at things a slightly different way. Certain things we take as common practice in our brass playing or music making, being brass players, or trombonists, or trumpet players, or tubists, or hornists. I guess that's all brass. And that is the idea of singing through the horn, singing through the instrument. Makes sense that people for years have been talking about that, right? Because if you sing it, you'll get a sense of pitch without the instrument. You won't have the burden, if it's a burden, of playing the instrument. And some people really don't like to sing, and they'd rather do it through the trombone rather than actually vocalizing it. I've met several students like that. The point is a singer uses air, and pitch comes out. We use our air, and we don't vibrate our vocal cords, but we vibrate our lips, and sound comes out. So there's something natural that someone would say, well, just sing it, and then play it through the instrument. Or sing it through the instrument, rather, they would say. That gets another part of us activated rather than just thinking about technique. It connects people maybe to an aspect of music. Part of my issue in bringing this up is, here's something I've noticed. And please, for those of you who are listening, I hope no one takes this too personally in the wrong way, okay? My business and my aim is to try to open up the territory, to be looked at, to be broadened, to be deepened, in case you're interested. I had a student come to me about a month ago. He was a very, very talented player. And he's also a string player. And I've had other students who have actually doubled on stringed instruments. But this person was coming into town to take a lesson from me. And he was a cellist. And he was playing the trombone. He was very, very talented. And I could see he was playing, but something wasn't engaged the way it should have been, in a full way, with the instrument, with the music, in an integrated process. And I said, you play cello, right? I've read you play cello. He said, yes. I said, why don't you think about playing the cello while you're playing the trombone? Did you ever think about when you're going to take a breath on the trombone, maybe it's the up bow, or at least the movement, even if it's a down bow, there's a movement either way first. And a lot of string players will breathe. They maybe won't go poo, but so there's something about the breath that'll manifest into percussionists, into string players, people who aren't wind players, which is fascinating in itself. So I told this person, since he has such an intimate relationship with the cello, very good cellist, I guess. And he said, okay, I'll try this. And as soon as that happened, it was like a new player in front of me. The amount of music and phrasing and freeness and richness and depth and expression coming out was at a whole nother level. Now, if I had said to this person, just sing, it might not have had the same impact. In fact, I know it wouldn't have. But I could take the opportunity to connect him with an assembly he has for an instrument in music that's not the trombone. So he could then approach the trombone without this worrying about how good I am on the trombone. And I think that's the sentiment a lot of times, of course, behind people saying, look, just sing through the instrument. In other words, let the part of you that knows how to play the trombone, which is your own automatic robotic system, which has been built over time, get out of the way. Let's see what it does. Have some faith in it. Meanwhile, you sing. And so with singing, there's a connection of continuous air. And so a lot of times that works very well with people. Here's what I've noticed. And I've noticed it when people play the Bordoni exercises. They think this idea of singing, and they only think of it in one way. They only think about singing with one kind of way of singing. Make it beautiful. Does everything have to be beautiful? Well, what do you mean beautiful? Here's another thing. I think people have a lot of bias when it comes to what is beauty. And this will manifest on the trombone. Well, if it's a beautiful sound. Well, if you're going to be blinded by that one beautiful sound, how in the world can you actually ever think about getting into the essence of the music, which might call for something different than your concept of a beautiful sound? Great, I'm happy you have a beautiful sound. But don't miss my point here. Where is the connection going to be for you? For this person who is also a cellist? That was a connection. And in that, there were things that string players do that singers do not do the same way. A lot of times singers don't do, unless I think there's certain kind of maybe person who's takes musical seriously or opera, certain kinds of opera, they know it's just not all one beautiful voice, because sometimes you need to do that. You ever seen that? Oh! They might do that. But I think we're afraid on the trombone to do that, because we want to be so beautiful. Why do we want to be so beautiful all the time? Is this because people are saying now this is the way to win an audition? Does that get kind of put into the person's robotic automatic system because they're not playing with a variety? And so they just crank out that one lovely sound and everything's good and most people are thrilled with it. I'm not thrilled with it at all. I'm not thrilled with it. Sorry about this computer a little bit. And so I'm bringing this up not to condemn anyone who has a beautiful sound and all they want to do is make the one gorgeous sound. Great, please do it. If it lights you up from the inside, that's great. But for others, maybe who need to read poetry differently, maybe once in a while you have to sound like a marimba. You ever hear of great oboists? They can put a lot of shapes. This kind of thing they can do. But it's just not a Bordoni-ish, what we've come to call a Bordoni-ish, just legato like that. Let's paint the walls with legato. It's gorgeous, but it doesn't always say different things. If we only have one language and one way to speak that language, then how can we actually feel that we can totally express ourselves if we feel it only has to be within this language, within this dynamic spectrum, because we're afraid to do something else? And I've seen this more with classical trombonists. And I've talked a lot about this, but I'm trying to throw different lights on it in case someone can get the idea that, you know what, I need to experiment. So listen to different instruments. Listen to the variety that a great string player will have with their articulation. Boy, we seem to play everything with the same articulation these days on brass instruments. I remember there was a string, I played a solo. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was Pulcinella in the orchestra in wow, it was a long time ago, 1982 with Kurt Masur and the BSO, and I got to play, I was playing principal, and so I played the Pulcinella, and Maestro Masur had me come to the front of the stage to play it. So I could stand right next to Ed Barker, which was a joy to play with him. And some people said, wow, you sounded just like a cello. You know, that can happen on trombone a lot. Sometimes they think they can sound like a cello. They said you did all these nuances like a string player. And then I played one of the solos that, forgive me, those who have perfect pitch, if that didn't start on an F, okay? Get my point anyway. I played that, and someone came up to me and said, you know, a string player, they said, I've decided I like my brass with no vibrato. I like my brass, just a nice, beautiful, straight sound. And I looked at them and said, good, how do you like your eggs? Because it sounded like they were giving me like, you know, I like my brass, you know, like this, like someone talks about how they like their eggs. Well, that's fine. Okay, I guess you didn't like my playing on that because I definitely used vibrato. And I didn't ask your opinion, actually, but thank you for giving it to me. And the next time I play it, I'll probably still play it the way I want to play it. So that was a string player saying, you know, this and that. And I've noticed that vibrato has shrunk in many circles of brass playing. And for years, it's been kind of a controversial thing, when to put it in, when not to put it in. But I'm trying to say, listen, everyone, listen, you brass players, trombone players. You're in an orchestra. You're surrounded by so many different instruments. I hope you're learning from them and their uniqueness of what they have to bring because of the acoustics of their instruments. Why can't you be like the alchemist and take a little bit of that ingredient of the oboe and put it into your playing once in a while? Why can't you take that pizzicato and put it into your spectrum of staccato? articulation. Why can't you listen to the timpani and go, oh wait, I can go boom, boom, boom. Timpani players. I was fortunate to sit very, very close by to one of the greatest timpani players ever. Greatest I ever heard in the way that the style, Vic Firth. And the way he would hone in to that timpani and boom, the sound just went boom. I mean, the resonance of it was incredible, and the diction of the first note was phenomenal. The impact. He would change sticks once in a while, for different shapes and different colors and different impacts of the sound. Some timpani players used to do that even more than he did. But there was a range. And so, before we get too straitjacketed into thinking, well, this is the only way we play an excerpt. This is the only way we play Chef Boyardoni. And I say Chef Boyardoni because sometimes people just whip out a Bordoni in a lesson, and it reminds me of someone who says, oh, what's in the cupboard? Ah, Chef Boyardee again. Guess I'll have to take that out and make it. And something routine, something, you eat it because it's there. And you play it that way. I don't care how beautiful it sounds. It still sounds a little Chef Boyardoni. And for those who aren't interested and who don't know about Chef Boyardee, go to your stores and ask someone if you can see some cans of Chef Boyardee. They used to be very popular. I think they're still around. Try one if you want. I don't think they're very healthy, but please, take a try. So I think it's important to find different ways that can impact and incite and connect us into our music making. Maybe just all the music that's put in front of us shouldn't be sung. Maybe it should be spoken. I've learned so much from hearing people speak to each other. So much about phrasing, intonation, and timbre changes. Try it. Try listening to people. Try listening to the other instruments in the orchestra and see where you could apply them into your own playing. Maybe we don't always have to sing. So maybe that'll be the title of this video, of this series. In case you're interested, you don't always have to sing.